All right, so this is my second video in my series on the politics of a certain cognitive function. And since last time I did NI, I'm going to do the politics of NE. And this one's a little bit more fun and interesting. And I think that NE, politically speaking, not attached to a parent function or anything like that, can really be summed up as who knows. Honestly, I don't think that any user has any idea themselves where they would stand. It's just really highly context dependent. I think they're annoying in the sense that you would not you would get this waffling and fence riding. You'd be like, well, I could see it on both sides. You just pick a side to argue and they'll be there. When I say argue, we immediately think ENTP, but I think ENFPs would do the same thing. They're like, well, I see that, but you know what I also see? This too. If you were to ask them where they stand on an issue, even if it seems like an issue where there is a clear dichotomy of like you're either on this side or that side, they would still try to find the nuance in, well, I could see how somebody could be also here and here. So, and then the conclusion is it's just one of those things where you got to dig into, you got to do more research. It's one of those things, it's a tough question. It's a tough question. That's, I think, what you're going to get. I think if you were to ask an NE type what their political party is, you'd get independent. They collect all the information. They don't like to pick a side. They're always, 1 year they were Democrat, 1 year they're Republican, 1 year they're Libertarian. You know what I mean? There's a little bit of that P type always wanting more information. That NE function, that perceiving function, always saying, well, I'm always gathering, thus I can't at any point in time tell you what I think about it. I really think that the NE type would be great at like being a political debate facilitator or interviewer, being able to ask both sides of the issue or take all the facets of something into consideration when talking to a candidate or really getting to the bottom of something or asking them to consider an alternative. But ask them to be on the debate stage. I can't remember if I can think of any like ENTP or ENFP that's been in a debate in a long time. They'd probably be very knowledgeable. That's the thing you would get. You would get an understanding of both sides. You would get a deep dive and an understanding, and a probably very, in a way, cohesive understanding. Like, okay, I know how all the parts fit together here, but what do I think about it? What's my stance? Oh yeah, no, oh man, it's one of those things where it's just like, how can you decide? I make fun of them just because I love them and love-hate relationship with ENFPs and ENTPs, but that is what you're going to get. Well, I say that I don't know any types running for office, and then I forget. Who can forget Kanye West? I mean, what did he get? Like half of a percent. So we saw that campaign. It was all over the place. It was unique. Definitely, there was not a lot of stage management and being polished. So that's what you'll also get. It would be interesting to see like an ENTP or an ENFP run for a political office. But in terms of the function itself, NE, I don't think it would ever take a stand. I mean, they would be the annoying independent of the that would get 1% of the vote each time. But I also see NE as being fundamentally the most uninterested in politics. And the reason I say they'd be uninterested is just that they would discover that politics is really the same thing over and over and over. That there's no change, there's no alternative options. People aren't willing to consider something outside the box. So I think they would be very bored by political discussion because they would just see the same cycle repeating itself and be like, I'm checked out of this. I can see how both sides could win, or I could vote for either person, but they might come to the same conclusion that like an NI type would say, which is like, the more things change, the more things stay the same. I think in a political discussion with an NE dominant user, you would get could seem like almost extroverted feeling or FE. Whereas if there was some sort of rapport that was needing to be built with a person, you could agree. They'd be like, oh, yeah, you know what? I see your point. And then also build upon their point to build that rapport, but not really caring at all about the position or whether they're right or wrong, or evaluating either way. I think the only way, if you're going to get more specific, the ENTP might use it as in a manipulative way to get something from the person, but I think the ENFP could be more offended than others. They might actually take a stand. Like there will be a part where they'll go, wait, hold on, okay, yeah, I can see that, but actually I can't see this. Like we're not gonna, like you've bumped up against my FI that we will not continue the conversation, or if so, I'm gonna get upset and I will pick a side. But most likely they're not going to pick a side unless it bumps up against their FI and they really feel offended or passionate about the subject. Where I think NE would be good politically is absorbing all the different types of political philosophy, thought, all the isms that exist, all the subcategories of each movement, and explaining that and kind of painting in their mind like an image of how everything's connected. And, if you were to look at the political compass, they would be able to point where everything is at and understand how it works together. But at the same time, almost kind of taking a weird objective, like this is what communism is, this is what monarchism is, but not being like, yeah, those are both things, but they're both, valid in their own way. So, two questions for those that are any DOMs in a political sense. Like, how do you think extroverted intuition manifests itself in political thought or political speech or political musings or something like that? And if you are an any DOM, like tell me about your experience, the political journey, how you came, if you ever came to a conclusion, what that was like. So I hope you enjoyed this series. Quick shout out to myself. I wrote a book. It's called Marble and Sculptor. The link to the Kindle and the Etsy and the hardcover, actually soft cover, but the hard copy will be in the link below. If you want to support your boy and pay $9 or $15, please do that. But let me know what you think about NE as a political function, and if it does even care about politics at all. Thanks for watching.